Remember when us GPP bros played Rashad Penny at 30% ownership? Coffins.
I suffer from a debilitating condition known as atrophic chokitis.
Peter's one of the greatest depositors I've ever seen.
Trust the process. Let's go. Let's go.
I got auto matched with Levitan. This is bullshit.
If I just go the other way in that 66, I win all the money. All the money.
If I had 150 lineups, I'd win too.
Process over results.
Illuminati make a bitch go crazy. I don't know which one of these my baby. Bust out AP, 35 bullets in your head like KD. Bust it, bitch go bust it. And I had 10 pints with me in Russia.
Hey everyone.
Hey everyone, indeed. How are we doing? I'll tell you how we're doing. I think Zevon here speaks for all of us. Tough day yesterday. It made me question why I do this. I cashed one of 41 GPP teams on the main site. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because that perfectly summarizes how a lot of us are feeling. It was one of those days where if we went the other way on that 6v6, we win all the money. You know, we do have one success story in here. Mike won the Al Smizzle Listener League yesterday. First ever GPP win. 4,500 big ones. Nice job, Mike. Miles Sanders at 2% was the reason. Wow, nice play. Very nice play there. I had sticker shock on Miles Sanders' new price tag. That proved to be faulty thinking. I did beat Smiz in our cage match. That was the one bright spot for me yesterday was beating Smiz in the cage match. A head-to-head GPP, if you will. What do we got going on in here? Casey wants to know if Will Fuller is on a team yet. No, we are, he's on a milk carton. We still have a watch party out for Will Fuller. We have no idea. James, this is another succinct way to put it. I hate DFS. The funny thing too is, I think when you talk about from like a process standpoint, the most frustrating thing for me yesterday was not getting dusted by, Jamal Williams and Geno Smith and that entire game. It was honestly playing Rashad Penny at 30%. I mean, that was one of those, holy shit, we are so far off on the ownership projections. We talked about it a little bit on Tilt Space yesterday, which by the way is back to YouTube now. We got rugged by playback. I think I have it pinned in the chat. So make sure you're following that Tilt Space YouTube account. But yeah, that was a brutal one to stare at his ownership all week, sub 10%, and to think that you were pulling a fast one over on the field and to completely just misread that steam. Fucking Hartman flag plants him on establish the million. He projects as the best points per dollar play. The total in that game doesn't go down. And yet us GPP bros are like, we're making the contrarian Rashad Penny play. He goes off for 31 points and it was a bad play. Like you cannot play a 4,900 Rashad Penny at 30%. I'm really mad at myself that I didn't play some Dobbins. I know Zach in the Discord talked about making that play. I talked about it on the cram. I knew it was a good play and I just fucking didn't have the stones to play it. So yeah, I'm going to look at a couple of these lineups. Definitely ran into some really higher ownership than I would have liked. Like, let's just pull this up right now. Let's just get into this. This was one of my spy teams, and this was the one that I'm just so mad about. Mariota at 15%. I guess that was a little bit to be expected. The Amari Cooper bring back at 20% is so bad. I was messing with Amari and Nick Chubb as bringbacks in some of these lineups, but I never want to play a $6,300 Amari at 20%. That was bad. Rashad Penny at 26% was bad. Kyle Pitts at 13%. I mean, I guess. I did have some okay pieces in here. One off AJ Dillon at 3% seemed fine. I did end up eating a little bit of chalk. I think what I said on the cram yesterday did play out where because there was enough value in that Detroit game and a lot of people went down to Khalif Raymond, that Josh Reynolds at 13% doesn't seem egregious tied to Penny. I don't know. Maybe this isn't even that bad of a lineup. It's like the Mariota and Penny and Amari stuff like is just makes me very upset. And the thing that happened is Mariota was projecting for such a high ceiling. He was 4th in ceiling projection, and the gap kept closing with the weather issues for Hurts, Lamar, and Allen. And so the teams I'm building in my spreadsheet just projected so fucking well with Mariota because you're jamming in a 30-point ceiling at 5,600. And I was just ignoring the fact that all the GPP bros are flocking to the comfiest game of the week now that the Eastern Seaboard is getting nailed by a hurricane. And we were too stubborn. We were too stubborn to adjust. Yeah, Hawkinson, and that one I'm not upset about. I mean, I'm not playing the chalk tight end. And I will say though, like, talk about the building blocks. If you guys are sub to 1 week season, I heard lots of people who rolled out the lineup that JM and I were working on the Friday show that had the Russ, Judy, Adams, and then one of his other building blocks on the slate was the Rashad Penny and TJ Hawkinson. I should also just mention, I was getting comments on that video, and I know a lot of you don't need to hear this, but I just need to put it on the record. People were playing that lineup or a version of that lineup, like play for play. I just want to reiterate again that show is recorded on a Friday when a ton of shit changes. Like, I'm here right now tilting my mind at the ownership steam that happened from Rashad Penny on Friday to Sunday morning. And so I'm just going to put this out. I'm going to mention it on the show with JM. Please do not play those specific lineups that we build on the show. It is a thought exercise to get a better feel for how to construct smart lineups, not to play, not because JM has figured out who is the best play on the slate. It is a thought exercise. So I'm happy for anyone who won money with the Russ Wilson stack and Devontae Adams bring back, but just please use some critical thinking and know that things change by Sunday and make sure you're adjusting for those variables. Let's see here. So I had this thought. Joe says literally every show talked about Penny, but still didn't think he'd get that high. Yeah. And what's so crazy to me is, like, a guy like Barkley yesterday, his ownership being in check is wild to me. And again, just goes to show how much the field has changed, because think about this from like a macro narrative standpoint. Everyone is so burnt out on these high-end running backs. And again, put yourself in the mindset before lock yesterday. We had 3 weeks, all these top guys failing, all of them not necessarily having the roles or the environments we hope for. There's this macro narrative, rightfully so, that wide receivers are king, yada, yada, yada. Barkley was like the one elite running back play yesterday that you felt good about. He was priced below Jonathan Taylor and CMC. And it just felt like everyone was going to funnel there. I was convinced that most of the, GPP adjacent teams were going to have one of like Herbert or Jamal Williams with a Barkley. Like I thought GPP players, I thought everyone was going to be on Barkley as like the chalk GPP running back. Nobody played him. Like, I mean, everyone's a galaxy brainer now. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Let's see here. This is what I was going to say about the idea of everyone talking about Rashad Penny. What we need, and I know there's some sites that try to do this, but I need a curated Steam index list. I need someone to create. I need, first of all, someone to listen to all of the GPP shows that drive ownership. I want you to listen to Establish the Million. I want you to listen to On the Contrary. I want you to listen to the Swolecast. But you see my point, though. I need someone to log all of these plays. I don't have time to consume all of this content. And I need just like a very simple visual, maybe a heat map of the names that are mentioned. We need to create the GPP Steam index and then recalibrate our ownership projections on Sunday morning. Because I'll tell you what is happening right now. Everyone is getting, myself included, is getting anchored to early in the week ownership. The projections come out. We see the best points per dollar plays. We says that's going to be chalks. We say that's going to be low owed. And then we spend more time talking about the low owed plays that eventually they start to converge with the chalk. I'm tilting. Oh, I thought you were going to say sounds like a job for a builder. Yes, it's someone who is willing to get calluses. Exactly. Heat map, Steam decks. I'll take it. Yes, Jordan. Not everyone can just be listening to podcasts at Kroger all day. Are you at the grocery store right now, Jordan? Blink twice if you're in the produce section. Look at this guy. Jordan just gets to listen. How lucky is Jordan Cooper? Just gets to listen to GPP content all week. I don't think the Twitter stuff, the scraping Twitter, to me, that's not moving ownership. I mean, what's so crazy too is you think about the stuff. I do really think Establish the Million, and it was Hartman on there instead of Dink. I think that show is legit moving ownership. Like, if Rashad Penny doesn't get flag planted on that show, I don't know if we clear 20%, honestly. This was a takeaway I had too. Because I ended up getting on some Herbert double stacks for some of my teams. Foster says Pierce was the real smash. Thought I was contrarian fading Jamal and Herbert, but everyone grew hard on for Penny. Early in the week, looking at Pierce and Jacobs, and they were projecting for chalk, but because Penny pulled so much ownership, then both Jacobs and Pierce came in super reasonable. Let me see what let's look at the top lineup here and see what some of these percentage were. So Jacobs at 5.4% is that's such a whiff. That is such a whiff on our part. I need to see what I had him at with aggregated ownership heading into yesterday, because I wasn't even ever considering Jacobs. I had Jacobs at, where is he? 18%. And this is weighted, like I have, the stochastic ownership projections in there, which is generally weighted towards large field. So you can normally add a bit of a single entry 3 max premium boost to even these aggregated ownership. I mean, I would have guessed Josh Jacobs at 25%. In the fucking SPY, he comes in at 5%. That's wild. That is wild. We were way off on ownership projections. Yeah, Petty, cannot believe how much of a running back week it was. Yeah, what was it? Someone had it on the 1 week season, had a tweet. I'll pull it up here. Some stats from the main slate as it pertains to running backs here. Where is it? I'm struggling this morning. What am I even doing? Like, I'm just not even talking as I go to try to find a tweet, partly because I'm just so tilted that I don't even want to talk about these lineups. Here we go. Yesterday on the main slate, no wide receiver had 25 or more points. 10 running backs / tight ends scored more than 25 points. Top quarterbacks, Jared Goff and Geno Smith. Here's your 2 TD players from yesterday. Jamal Williams, Rashad Penny, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler, T.J. Hawkinson, and Mo Alley. They forgot he played basketball in college. Cox. Yeah. FF Doom, there were so many RBs in the 57 to 6,100 range. That's why Jacobs was so low. Khalil Herbert getting mega steam too definitely contributed to that. And I'm too embarrassed to pull up my lineup that has a fucking 46% owned Khalil Herbert, but we'll look at that in a second. Let's see here. Interesting to see how DraftKings responds. They've been very aggressive with pricing this year. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. On the other hand, Austin Eckler smashed his tag at 7,700. Look at Sean. Go off, King. Cashed in the KFC Showdown in Frito-Lay snacks in Snack Series. I need to pull up the Swolecast one that once again cashed in the Frito-Lays. I mean, that thing is just a print fest. It's the only show you need. Honestly. You just watch the Swolecast Wednesday at 1:30, jam the team we build, and then live the rest of your life. Go fucking apple picking. Look at this. Look at this team right here. Swolecast. This is a bankroll builder. Free roll team, $1 here. Justin Herbert to Mike Williams. Look at that. Just absolutely beautiful. You bring it back with Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is 4.7% owned in the Frito-Lay Snacks and Snacks series. We need to do a better job with our contest selection. No one in the Frito-Lay Snaps and Snacks series participants did not check the optimal lineups. They did not see that Brandon Cooks was one of the best points per dollar plays on the slate. This is where you play the chalk in the fucking Frito-Lay's Snaps and Snacks series. Look at these percentages. Tyler Lockett, our only player over 10%. Not a single player scoring less than 10 points. This isn't even a play the best plays lineup. Like, this was a bit gal brain. Justin Herbert to Mike Williams. Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, holy cow. The Swolecast is just firing on all cylinders right now. Everyone always says this. Maybe we move to Yahoo and get that free money, and yet no one ever goes to Yahoo. This is like when people said that they would leave America. Like if there's a president that they don't like, they go, I'm moving to Canada, and then they never do. Yahoo will take you guys. I promise. Oh, I forgot to do the fucking pour. Moment of silence for the queen. Let's look at this other lineup I built. Did we look at the rest of this winning lineup in the big spy here? Geno Smith, Josh Jacobs, Jamal Williams, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Cooks, Hawkinson, Eckler, Commanders. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players from that game. This isn't even an absurd lineup. Geno Smith, premium double stack. Bring it back with the 2 best chalk pieces on the Lions. Then you do an Eckler, Brandon Cooks mini correlation. Josh Jacob one-off. When this person was making this lineup, they're like, you know what? I know Josh Jacobs is probably going to be 20%, but man, that 5,500 fits. If only they knew Rashad Petty was down there at 4,900. Commanders D at 2%. Not bad. Ship it. 237.6. A-Raven, top 6. What did A-Raven do? What? A-Raven got 6th place with a Marcus Mariota team? A naked Mariota team. So this must be his cash lineup. Mariota, Eckler, Jamal Williams, Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks, Josh Reynolds, Hawkinson, Jacobs. This is a fucking cash lineup. A-Raven tossed his cash lineup into the 250K spy with 50K to first. 10th place gets $2,000. A-Raven tosses in his cash game lineup and makes $4,000. Easy game. You can buy a lot of DraftKings stock with $4,000. So about this, Nick, we have found out the guy who put in the same lineup. Let me see if I can find this. Let's go to Twitter. Matt Border doesn't follow me on Twitter. Fucking, this guy sucks. Let's see here. Did he delete this tweet? He must have deleted this tweet. Oh boy, he deleted this tweet. All right, maybe I'll let that one go. We'll get to the bottom of that one later. Matthew Porter had a tweet that he deleted. Let's see here. T-Tid likes this. That lineup is incredible. Mariota essentially ruined all my good lineups. I mean, this goes to show about what a chalk smash day it is. You could run out a naked Mariota, get fucking 5 points for your quarterback. It just absolutely smash. It reminds me of that. What was it, 2 years ago? I'm sure Blender remembers the year. I think it was 2 years ago. One of those weeks, the Blitz Optimal ran like a 10-way train that shipped the spy. Those are the good weeks, right? It doesn't make Petty feel good that cash lineups won on a slate. I finally profited. That MJ says, couldn't you have afforded Geno or Goff there? I don't want to speak for A Raven, but my guess is that he built one lineup and tossed it into all of the single entry and 3 max contests. That's normally what some of these guys do. That would be my guess. Let's look at this other lineup I built. This one is another frustrating one here. I decided, everyone says, Pete, why don't you finally play some chalk? So I decided to finally play some chalk. I said, you know what? It feels like everyone's getting off of this Bills-Ravens game here. I'll do a little Josh Allen to Mark Andrews skinny stack. Sorry, Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs skinny stack and bring it back with Mark Andrews. Ended up not being sneaky. Apparently no one was afraid. 20% Josh Allen, 23.5% Steph Diggs, 15% Mark Andrews. I did decide to eat some chalk here with Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert at 46%. What a coffin. I knew because the Allen, Herbert, Andrews, Diggs stuff wasn't going to be super off the radar that I did want to get in a mini with some low ownership. The Breece Hall, George Pickens, actually feel good about that one. JM to Win talked about Pickens on our Friday show, and I thought it was a good note, again, about if you're going to play some of these punt wide receivers, playing ones that have a bit of a ceiling there that aren't going to be owned. Pickens definitely checked that box. Let's just ignore this Keelan Cole play here at 3K. Let's just completely ignore it. It was correlated with Jerry Jeudy, and I needed to save some money in this economy. Josh says, I feel embarrassed to ask, but newer to the DFS space, could you very quickly explain GPP versus SPY versus cash? GPP stands for Guaranteed Prize Pool. We just use that as shorthand for describing tournaments. It basically means even if the contest doesn't fill, the tournament will run regardless because DraftKings or the site is guaranteeing that prize pool. SPY is just the name of one of the main contests I play. I generally will play the 500K SPY, the 250K SPY. Sometimes they have a double SPY that is just a branding name. All of these tournaments have different brand names. The Juke, the Blind Side, etc. And then cash is largely double ups or head-to-heads against a single opponent. So you're going much less off the board because you don't need to embrace as much variance, and you're trying to build the highest floor team possible. Doesn't that sound like a fun time? It honestly isn't, Jordan. Jordan says that projected. Because trust me, I double check all of these. This one projected for. What's so funny, Jordan? This was my highest projected team that I had built. Where is it? Or sorry, this wasn't my highest, but I had it at 187 ceiling projection with this team. And the optimal yesterday was at a 201. And I was giving up anywhere from 10 to 15 points in my lineup builds yesterday. Can we take a moment of silence for Gabe Davis? Sure. We should take a moment of silence for Gabe Davis Kyle Pitts, and can I toss KJ Hamler in there? I know no one was playing him, but some of us in Redacted drafted a lot of KJ Hamler, who got on the field for fucking 4 snaps yesterday. Sean says was likely even on the field yesterday. That was my dumb way of trying to get different. I don't know. Punting it off at tight end isn't bad. I think Davis said he was going to play Isaiah Likely yesterday. I think what I'll do is I'll just retire from GPPs and I'll start working on my week 18 cash game shell. I have the week 17 schedule memorized, but I haven't memorized the week 18 schedule. Maybe that's what needs to be my next project. Let's check out the week 18 schedule here. Buccaneers at Falcons. Desmond Ridder will be quarterback by then. Kyle Pitts will still be running 8 routes a game. Ooh, Patriots at Bills. That'll be a classic 13-10 game. Vikings at Bears. By that time, Treston Ebner will be the starting running back for the Bears. He will be deemed a league winner. Everyone will be playing him in cash at 5,600. Ravens at Bengals. They'll definitely be back to Tyler Huntley by then. Lions at Packers. Aaron Rodgers will have retired. He'll be doing ayahuasca trips in Colombia. Jordan Love will finally be seeing his first snaps. Everyone will be talking themselves into him as a week 18 cash play. The Colts will be playing the Texans. Matt Ryan will have been forced out of the league by then. Davis Mills will once again put up a stat line with 14 DraftKings points. And you'll see tweets that say Davis Mills is actually kind of underrated. The Jets at the Dolphins. Joe Flacco will be back in at quarterback. Panthers at Saints. Taysom Hill is installed as the full-time Wildcat QB by then. People are debating him versus Jordan Love in cash that week. Chargers at Broncos. Mike Boone is the starting running back for the Denver Broncos, yet there's still people on Twitter insisting 0 RB doesn't work. He proceeds to drop 3 catches and finish with approximately 8.4 points. The anchor RB bros throw fist pumps in the air. Chiefs at Raiders. The Chiefs are still using their rookies, Isaiah Pacheco and Sky Moore, solely on special teams. Juju Smith-Schuster has an ADOT of 2.4. Rams at Seahawks. Cooper Kupp has tragically gotten hurt. Ben Skowronek has taken over as the wide receiver 1 for the Rams. Geno Smith, as the leading MVP candidate, rests in this game because the Seahawks are 15-2. Drew Lock makes the start. Cardinals at 49ers. Cliff Kingsbury has just received a 10-year extension. They score 10 points. That was cathartic. It feels good to kind of get in the right frame of reference for week 18. I don't even know how much longer we can look at these top lineups in these other contests. Did Max Steinberg put the same lineup in both these spies? Geno Smith, Barkley, Sanders. Let me see this other one where he was in the top 220. Yeah, same lineup. See, at least this one's a tournament team. He wasn't hungover like a Raven and just tossing his cash game team in. He at least took a little bit of time to build this lineup. This is actually, I like this lineup here. So you do the Geno Smith premium. You bring it back with Cephas and Hawkinson. So you do sidestep some of the Jamal Williams chalk, but you do eat, obviously, the Hawkinson. Play Barkley at 15%, which seems fine. Sanders at 1.9% is a sick play. Eckler, 16% in the flex. Giants defense at 5.6. Man, Giants D, another one there. Giants D, I had cumulative ownership at over 10%. Giants D comes in at 5.6%. Home team versus Justin Fields. That's a nice play. I like this lineup from Max. Who else? Do we have any other names we recognize up here? A Raven. Oh, there was our guy, Pius. Pius was hanging out in the Tilt Space chat yesterday. He was talking about this sweat. Man, DFS is so gross. Like, we joke a lot about getting dusted on here, but let's use our friend Pius Devil here as an example. Sick lineup. He had the Russell Wilson premium double, Cortland Sutton, Judy, has Eckler, Penny. He has the Adams bring back, eats that Hawkinson chalk, plays really good, cheap punt play wide receiver Alec Pierce at 1%, gets 12 points there. Puts up 207 points, wins $1,000, 10 X's. I would have fucking creamed my pants for this lineup yesterday. Do you know how, if I could come on this show and say, look, guys, I finished top 30 in the SPY, and what do I get in return? A fucking 10X. DFS is sick. It really is sick. We will see an over. I mean, I was talking about this on Tilt Space too. We've now had 2 weeks where a single game has absolutely erupted, right? We had that Dolphins Ravens game where you just had to have that game to win a tournament. Yesterday, you had to have the Geno Smith or Jared Goff game stacks to win a tournament, and the chalk hits. Or maybe the field is just too smart for that. Maybe in previous eras, everyone would flock to their favorite chalk game to stack this week. What do we even have on tap this week? Someone said this is a gross slate. Can we predict? Can we predict on a Monday what's going to happen where everyone is going to flock? I don't even know if these slates, is this slate up yet? Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what everyone's going to do this week. All right, here we go. Here we go. We already took care of week 18. Let's take care of week 5. Oh, Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Oh, rest in peace, Kenny Pickett. God damn it. Cleveland at the Chargers. People are going to talk themselves into this one. They're going to like that one. Houston at Jacksonville. People are going to like that one. Chicago at Minnesota. People are going to fade that. Detroit at New England. No way. Jared Goff on the road in New England. The GPP bros are going to say there's no way he can keep this up. Seattle at New Orleans. That seems disgusting. This will actually be interesting for confirmation bias. You have Jared Goff on the road at New England and Geno Smith on the road in New Orleans. I could see maybe if the Saints get Geno Smith or get Jameis Winston back, that could be fun. Miami at New York Jets, that could be fun. I'm interested in that one. Maybe we get Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore. Atlanta at Tampa Bay. No. Tennessee at Washington. Hell no. San Francisco at Carolina. No. Philadelphia at Arizona. Just play Philadelphia. Dallas at Rams. Shit show. This slate sucks. All right. So what are all the GPP bros going to do? The GPP bros are going to be on this Chargers Cleveland game. The Galaxy Brainers are going to be on this Miami New York Jets game. Eagles Cardinals highest total. I don't know how this Cardinals team could ever be allowed in a game with the highest total. I mean, the implied total on the Eagles better make up like 80% of that. This Cardinals team is so dusted. All right. Everyone says it. Arizona, Philly, definitely going to be chalk. Okay. All right. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Keenan Allen is back at 6,500. You know, yesterday's bad when I just want to avoid talking about the slate, and I'm willing to do a first look show for not only week 5, but also week 18. Oh, yeah. It's no fun when the fun players become chalk. Pick and strike. What did they price? Allen's at 8,200. I don't know if he's going to be chalk. What is Diggs at? Diggs at 8,400. Cooper Kupp 9,600 in this economy. I think Jefferson will be chalk, right? Coming off the big game. Everyone said Justin Jefferson was dead. Then he has a big game. Then we're back on him. Nick says Cardinals will be good when Moore comes back is turned into Cardinals will be good when Nuke comes back. And then we'll say Cardinals will be good when they fire Cliff. And then we'll say Cardinals will be good when they find a new starting quarterback. It was good to see Rondell back, you know. Did you see him get clotheslined by that Cardinal player? Can I find a video of that? I mean, it was brutal. Rondell Moore. Can I find a video of this? I need this again. I need to watch this here. I can't find it on Twitter. Whatever. See, this is what I don't understand. Like, what if someone says after yesterday we need to stop worrying about chalk? This is the epitome of being reactive to what happened the week before. So, like, if you extend this logic, or what you're saying is we should just run the optimal and play that because last week the top projected plays hit. Ergo, this week the top projected plays will hit. To me, the conversation I'm trying to have is we need to be more thoughtful about ownership projections come Sunday. And we are just 2 weeks removed from all of the chalk busting in week 3. What I'm tilting about is thinking sneaky GPP plays that aren't actually sneaky or sneaky. That's what I'm tilting about. Obviously, any of us, if I assume if you guys heard that, say you raise your hand if you played Rashad Penny. If you knew Rashad Penny was going to be 27% owned in the SPY and Josh Jacobs was going to be 5% owned, or Damian Pierce was going to be 6 or 7% owned, you never would have played Rashad Penny. That's the stuff I'm tilting about. Rashad Penny scored 31 points, and I'm tilting Rashad Penny. This is right here. James says we just have to galaxy our own galaxy plays. Exactly, Marcus. That's what I'm tilting today. That was a nice play. That was a nice play here. Let me pull up one of my Herbert double stacks here. What did I toss this in? I think I tossed these in the red zone. Let's see here. All right, here was my Herbert stack that I tossed in. I actually think this was maybe one of my better lineups yesterday. Well, certainly by points, but as far as avoiding some chalk. But even Herbert coming in at 9% when he was projecting sub 5 doesn't feel great. But Herbert to Mike Williams and Josh Palmer, Nico Collins bring back at 1.5%. I felt good about that, especially when I was messing around. You know, when Pharaoh Brown got ruled out, we were talking in the Discord about whether we could plug our nose with Jordan Akins or OJ Howard. But I really thought it actually benefited Nico there a bit. So my thought with this one is you're getting Eckler chalk and Rashad Penny chalk, or not Rashad Penny, Brandon Cooks chalk. And you can sidestep that there via the passing game. Herbert to Mike Williams and Palmer. Bring it back with Nico. Feel good about that. Did play a one-off Rashad Penny here. I believe I had Cortland Sutton in this lineup initially, but I knew I needed to get a little unique when I was behind. He was the only guy I didn't have going late, so I did pivot this to Connor, knowing he would be far less owned, trying to make up some points. And then had my Nick Chubb, Kyle Pitts correlation I mentioned. I did. You saw my shitty Amari Cooper at 20% play. Feel much better about Chubb sub 10% with Kyle Pitts there. One off Rashad Penny because I'm a fish at 23%. This lineup isn't that bad. Pius, we were just reviewing your lineup. You'll have to wind back. We looked at your lineup and we talked about how it proves that DFS is the sickest thing imaginable because you had a really nice team that only 10x'd. I mean, it's honestly impressive to even finish that high on a week where one game goes that nuclear. Love the Jets play. Had one team with them. Yeah, the Jets look good to me. I ended up not really punting at defense yesterday. The main defenses I used were the ones I talked about on the cram. I used Cardinals. I used Jets. And what was the other one I used? I did use the Bears in one too. You want me to tell you we are done with Pitts? I can't do it anymore. Arthur Smith might be the devil. Here's the thing where we're at with Kyle Pitts. Well, am I interested in a 1% or 2% owned Kyle Pitts? Absolutely. But if I'm thinking like that, it means a lot of GPP bros are thinking about that, which means we probably get 10% Kyle Pitts again. How much is Kyle Pitts on this slate? Is he on this slate? Kyle Pitts down to 4,400. Disgusting. Yeah, Arthur Smith, man. What was the Mike Clay had a tweet about their usage. Here it is. Or no, here. Oh, Dwayne had it. Arthur Smith hates Kyle Pitts. Route participation this season. Week 1, 72%. Week 2, 91%. Week 3, 68%. Week 4, 60%. Historically, great equals 80% plus. Decent, 70%. Poor equals 60% and below. Still had a 24% target share. The only viable move is to hold and pray. So this goes back to, like, are we done with him? Like, their pass volume is just absurd right now. They're not throwing enough. How many pass attempts did Mariota have yesterday? 19 pass attempts. It's just not going to happen on 19 pass attempts. It doesn't matter if it's fucking Travis Kelce, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, circa the mid-2000s. It's just not happening with 19 pass attempts. I'm ready for Ritter, and I don't even think it's Mariota's fault. I think it's Arthur Smith, but give me Ritter. Exactly. No Andrews, Kelce, or Waller on the main slate. It looks like you are correct. George Kittle, Hawkinson, Ertz. Yeah, gross tight end slate incoming here. CPAT, the true alpha. I mean, CPAT is so resilient, man. He just finds ways to score every single week. But, I mean, you want to tilt. I mean, Caleb Huntley coming out of nowhere to get 10 carries for 56 yards and a TD. Like, this backfield, with as much as they're running, it's kind of like the Bears, right? Where the Bears are so bad, yet they're so committed to the run that you saw David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert putting up such big numbers. I mean, if this offense just condensed around Algier and Patterson, it would actually be a pretty viable backfield for fantasy. But if we're going to toss Caleb Huntley into the mix and get a three-way and not the fun kind of three-way, then it's just a fucking disaster. All right. I think I'm about over this for today. This was supposed to be tilt therapy. I don't know if I'm any less tilted. If anything, I feel more tilted. But that's how it goes. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Hop in the Discord. Subscribe to that new Tilt Space channel. And I think that's it. Next week, we win all the money. We'll see you guys then.